What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're checking out Mafex number 181, Steel. Quick look at the figure here in the window. Couple immediate impressions. The figure looks tall, so I'm excited to check that out in the comparisons with some of the other Return of Superman figures. But yeah, let's take a look at the box and then let's jump inside. Nice vanilla pose here. I actually like that pose very much, and I'll probably go with that generic pose on the shelf. Dope little pose here, firing away. Some more action figure poses. One of my concerns also when I saw the initial pics was these wires or these tubes going down along the side of his legs. I worry about durability and how that's going to feel with articulation, so we're going to check that out together also. Over here, we've got some cool poses with some double-handed stances, another one here, so pretty chill. Some extra portraits there. I'm digging the gridded teeth one. I like them all. Very, very cool. All right, let's check them out. All right, figure stand, which I have a pile of these, and I don't ever use them, but I'm gonna start using them. Let's take a look at the accessories and get them out of the way real quick. So we've got the flying fire effects. We'll take a look at that later. Let's look at the hands and the portraits. We've got some really cool open hands. And that's going to be really, really chill for some kind of like gripping the floor poses when you're doing hero stances. Very, very nice. I'm digging these with that nice blue steel metallic. And I just called it nice. So I guess we're getting closer to that thumbs up. We've got a pair of fists with the port there, the hole for the sledgehammer. And these are kind of more like relaxed, less tense, open emotive hands. That's 3 down. And here we have more kind of like that. These are great, I think, for that flight hovering pose. You know, with hands kind of like rested down by the side. If I could keep it on the damn port. You know, or even kind of like opened out like that, reaching out. So I really like this emotive hand for Superman figures, for sure, for sure. All right, portrait time. The open mouth yelling war cry face. I'm digging the rivets here along the skull, where you have the seams for the steel plates. That is dope, goes all the way around to the back. The paint is really well applied, man. I don't seem to have marbling. At least not on this piece that I'm holding. I didn't see any on the hands that we looked at. So that's dope, you know. One head down. The gridded teeth portrait. The sculpts are the same, other than some action here around the nose and the mouth. But again, I'm looking for marbling, and it is really well done, man. Very well applied paint. All right, let's check out the sledgehammer, and let's see if we have an issue with it not being a straight staff. When I connect it, wow, pretty good, man. That's pretty straight. I take it back. I take it all back, Steel. And in case you're wondering, Steel stands at about 7 inches, and this stands at about 7 inches. So this is an absolute 7 inches. So Steel is about 6.5, maybe 6 3/4. Very cool. Close look at the fire effects. So you've got that one blast of fire coming out, and it's a mostly translucent plastic. All right, let's take a close look at Steel. I've got the cape windswept. It is a really large cape, and we're going to take a look at that in a moment. One thing that I was concerned about with this cape is, did it have the same, what I call shoulder pads here in the cape? And it does, that Cyborg Superman has. So we'll start out by looking at that. I'll pull it this way, and you can see that it looks almost like bird feet. You know, it looks like a piece of bird feet. And I mean, it is well attached to the cape. I'm going to give them that. And the cape itself is really well and tightly snug attached to this chest piece. You know, there's no give here. So this is a great cape, and the stitching is super tight. Around the head, there is no stitching. Around the collar, I should say. It's just fabric exposed there. But it fits so snug, and you really don't notice much of a loop exposed back there by the neck. We've got the S logo I'd love to see one day a stitched on logo on a Superman cape. That would be dope. And a quick look at how big this cape is when you fan it out. I mean, look at that. Let's look at it from the front. Yeah, so it is a massive, massive cape. The span on that cape is 11 and a half, maybe 12 inches. So that is a huge cape. There are no wires anywhere, just around the edges. The edges are not rounded, they're pointed. Let's take a look at some other features that he has going on here that's really unique. These shoulder pads, these two pieces are connected, but there's great movement on them. They flex really easily. They are attached really well here, right? So you've got a pin through a loop, really, really nice. And then you see this cut here in the shoulder piece so that the arm can articulate all the way up. So really nice design there. It doesn't hinder movement at all, and it's all covered by this really beautiful cape. Sans maybe this shoulder piece, this bird foot shoulder pad. So just looking at some more details here, I was concerned also from promo shots how this was going to be sealed here at the ribs. And it is, there's no gap. I mean, this emblem is just like sealed to the chest, and it's not like gunks of glue or anything. The figure feels really smooth, but so strong everywhere. This attachment here on his left forearm does not come off at all. So just a note on that, but it looks great, feels great. His belt here feels really soft, and it seems to be glued here on the back to his trousers, so it won't move too far up or too far down. Taking a look at this other area, so the hose is connected here, so it's like one piece then another piece, and they're just kind of like semi touching there. Same on both sides. There goes a little seam at the top of the thigh. It seems like the hose is inside of the thigh, like half of it, and then as you go down the leg, it becomes more exposed here at the bottom of the quad, and then it's exposed all the way down, and then it kind of like gels again with the calf. So that's cool because you don't have to worry about, you know, like breaking most of it. Here you do have to worry not to put too much pressure, it seems like. I will say this is a tall dude. This is a tall dude right now. I just noticed with some little feet. You know, like that does seem like slightly undersized feet for this really big dude. We'll take a look at foot size during the comparison. Let's see what articulation is like with these pieces. Oh, that was smooth. Really smooth. Look. Very nice. You don't really feel any tension from this hose piece. Very nice. It seems to bend easy. I do still wonder if over time, since the hose is naturally separated right here on both sides, if over time the hose will come loose right here. I'm not sure. If it does, I'll just rip it off. Very cool. Very cool. I like the presentation. And you know what? I like the red and the blue together. I will say that. I will say that also. It does remind me of that metallic steel blue from RoboCop, but number one, RoboCop had bigger feet. And number two, I like the blue because it goes with the red, you know, for that Superman-esque vibe. Very, very chill. Very, very chill overall. Let's look at his articulation. Rotation all the way in the head. The neck will give you some movement and rotation at the bottom where it meets the collarbone. And that is pretty tight on my figure here. You saw you have better than 90 at the shoulders. You do have your butterfly hinge there for that extra extension around the chest piece. How dope is that? Right? Then you got your full range down, swivel all the way around at the bicep. This, you know, moves independently. Your double jointed elbow, universal ball joint there at the fist. You've got not rotation at the diaphragm, but swivel without, oh, I just broke something. Nah, Didn't break it. Apparently, some of the pouches on his belt are removable. Peg, slot, boom, back on. Very dope. But you do have good tilt at the diaphragm, and you got that rotation there at the waist, no problem. It's not hindered by the belt because the belt is glued to the trousers. So that's pretty dope. At the legs, you do, first of all, you do have the drop down. You do have the drop down. So I'm gonna drop down on both hips, and we'll take a look at the split, and that's all we're gonna get. Forward, I mean, that's not bad, you know. Forward, you've got your toe. Not a lot of action in these small, weird space boot looking things, but you do have a little tiny bit of rocker there, a little bit the other way, and you do have a little bit of wobble, not even swivel here at the upper thigh. So standard Mafex articulation. These are some of the most beautifully sculpted and painted figures, some of the highest engineered figures for sure, and I absolutely love them. I do feel like in the articulation department, because they don't have more swivel or rotation at the hip, they don't have boot cuts typically, that limits articulation. Not to say that these are highly articulated figs, not to say they're not, but those shortcomings are notable, you know? So that's all I have to, and that's all I have to say about that. All right, as far as the bird foot shoulder pads, they really don't get in the way. You see how I could tuck the cape, you know, and I kind of pinch it back so that you get that exposed shoulder look, that buff shoulder look. So really cool. I'm digging all that stuff. Let's take a look at a couple of poses with him holding his sledgehammer. All right, pose number 1 with steel. I want to point out how much I've pulled the cape to one side, and I've had to tuck it here. And I wanted to highlight that because I feel like it's a good indicator of what's going on there with those bird feet shoulder pads. You can really work with them a lot. We're going to turn the figure around. I like the double-handed pose, almost like he's about to batter up. Give you a look from the front. You see how the cape is not hiding his face? You really cannot see the puffiness from the chicken toe shoulder pads. And I keep giving them different names every single time. Rippling muscles. I do like the metallic shine more and more. Look from the other side. More muscles there. You don't see the, let's call them pigeon feet shoulder pads. You don't see them down here. So really nice. A lot of action with this massive cape, but it doesn't feel oversized like the Hush cape. Even though I love the Hush cape for Batman, it also does kind of feel super duper large. So all right, let's take a look at another pose. And what we'll do is I'll highlight how you can just kind of like slide his hands around, and then you can move his arms, you know, with the weapon in his arms. Oh man, he looks like he's about to just plow. As if he was about to kind of like just bring this down at the carnival and try to get that teddy bear. Tons of action again in the cape. Slide the arms around again. Bring them to the front. Let's get that forward smash pose. And all this again without removing the staff from the hands, you know, and so that's pretty dope. You know, it just goes to show how clean the articulation can be, and just the thoughtfulness that went into the engineering of these figs, the design and engineering, man, because it's so dope. And there we go, forward on pose, hammer lifted in the back, ready to bring that bad boy down. Boom! Very dope fig. Again, nice windswept pose back there with the cape. Great action. All right, let's take a look at steel flying. Hey, look there. These are about 3 inches in length, these fire effects. They do give him a nice look. Steel can get a great amount of arch in the back, so he can get that eye forward gaze when he's flying. All right, let's jump into comparison and then do some final thoughts. We're gonna start out with just some size comparisons really quickly. So I'll bring out the Spawn Monolith from Wave 5. And he is a big boy. And he's got a little bit of that red theme going on, even though it's almost more like a burnt umber than it is red. I'm also going to bring out another all-time great villain. We have Destro. This is the definitive Destro. Another figure with some red, and he's also a bad guy. This is my Mythic Legions custom Razar figure. He is a former bad guy, got stuck in a portal in between good and evil right there at the threshold, and lost half of his limbs. What he regained was part human, and he's wrestling with that demon side. Nice little backstory for my cool little custom. Some nice height variations here. And now we'll jump right into our Return of Superman comparisons. I'll immediately bring out the Solar Suit Superman. And yeah, sure enough, man, check that out. Steel is towering over him. That is dope. That is dope. He looked way bigger in the box, like we said. Very, very dope. All right, foot comparison. I wasn't joking. Steel is a much bigger dude, man. Look at that face off right there. And their feet, his feet are much wider because of those goofy space boots. But they're about the same length, their feet are about the same length. And I think that lack of proportion is driving me freaking nuts. All right, next up, I'm gonna bring out Cyborg Superman, and this is one of my favorite figures that has come out in the last 12 months. I don't remember what year I got it in, probably in 2023. I don't remember, but this is one of my favorite figures in my collection, and definitely one of the top figures I think that's been released in the last 12 months. He's absolutely stunning to look at. All right, foot comparison. You be the judge. This foot actually, I mean, almost looks like a centimeter bigger. But either way, our man Steel has got wide, small Fred Flintstone feet and a side by side of 3 of our reign of Superman figures. I cannot wait for Eradicator, and I'm excited for Superboy. I can wait for him, but I'm still excited for him. A lot of mixed opinions about Steel here as we segue into our final thoughts. Because of the deco style that Mafex chose to go with, and I can echo some of those sentiments. You know, this paint, this blue steel metallic has grown on me as I've shared and checked them out here with you today. The space boots have not grown on me, but I don't think they take too much away from the figure. I do like the silver metallic, and I think it's applied super beautifully there on the emblem. Dope overall. I'm happy to have them in my collection. Even if I didn't like them, I would have gotten them because I want to have the complete set. I am also hoping that, and I don't know if they've announced it, but I hope Mafex does Doomsday, right? If you're going to give us the Reign of Superman collection, shouldn't we have Doomsday? And also, one more thing. Do people have something against Lex Luthor? Can people start making some cool-ass Lex Luthor figures, please? How about some figures based on the run of comics Lex Luthor for President? How cool would that be? You know what I mean? Just a couple of figures, 2, 3 from that run. That'd be dope. Or even the run of comic books Lex Luthor, the Man of Steel. How dope would that be? You know, but anyway, Mafex number 181. I think he's very, very dope. Glad I picked him up. And as always, everybody, I'm happy you took a chance to come out and share the experience of collecting toys as an adult. And I hope you're able to keep coming back and share some experiences too. Until next time, everybody. Thank goodness it's playtime.